material was completely resorbed in the periapical tissue, but the material remained in place inside of the canal. So you won't have the problem of keep seeing the material long time after. You can extrude the material. It's not advisable to extrude materials to outside of the root canal system, but there are some situations in which we have this risk. If you need to proceed with an emergency appointment, the patient arrives suddenly to the office with a lot of pain and you do not have time because your agenda is full, your schedule is full, you can proceed just with a full pulpotomy and the patient will have relief of the pain. After doing the full pulpotomy, you can place calcium hydroxide at the entrances of the root canal system, let the patient go home, the patient will start feeling better. In the second appointment, you can proceed with the root canal treatment. If you have the time, just finish the root canal treatment, and if you do not have the time for finishing it, you can place some medication. And in this case, we use the material. As you can see, we are able to see where the material is located and is covering the complete working length. It's really easy to remove. Just with the needle and the syringe, you will be able to remove the material. And if you use the AQS, the sonic activator, is gonna be much more easier because that sonic activator will create that movement of the irrigant and will take out the excess of material from inside of the root canal system. But for being able to deliver the irrigants in an appropriate way, and for being able to place our medication inside of the root canal, we need to shape the canals. We need to use manual files or rotary files for shaping the canals. And you can use the rotary system of your choice, you can use the manual files of your choice, but we will see today an instrumentation system that have a lot of advantages, and this system will help you to have a reliable practice without the risk of separating the files inside of the canals. And in this case, as you know, I like to proceed always. The first part of my isolating protocol is to place the rubber dam and the clamp. After placing the rubber dam and the clamp, I use next temple C for placing it all around the tooth and all around the clamp. I proceed in this way to remove dental caries. For removing the dental caries, please always go from the occlusal area to the cervical area. Please do not take the board and go straight to the bottom of the cavity. To start from the occlusal area to the cervical area, and in that way you will prevent pushing all the bacteria to inside of the root canal system. This big exposure, we weren't able to perform a direct pulp capping there, so we proceed with the endodontic access. But after doing the endodontic access, I wanted to do my pre-endodontic core build-up. Sometimes my first appointment is just for doing this, and after that I can work really comfortable in the second appointment. So I place the same material for protecting the pulp chamber because the material is really easy to see and it's really easy to remove, and the same material will help me as a guide for going inside of the pulp chamber. This is after protecting the pulp chamber, and I use the material for placing my restorative material around. After that, after going inside of that system, we proceed with the root canal shaping. These rotary files are really new. The main characteristics of these files are the next. First one is a short sequence. The sequence is composed of 4 files. In some cases you will need all of them, and in other cases you will be able to finish the shaping just with 3 files. These files are made from nickel titanium, but the nickel titanium is in a martensitic stage. That martensitic stage will allow you to be able to prevent the files. And when applying heat to the files will return to the original shape. So if you are working and doing the shaping, some file, any of the files have some distortion in the flutes, or it gets curved, as soon as you place the files in the autoclave, the files will return to the original shape. This is a nice feature because sometimes we have patients with limited mouth opening, and for going inside, we need to prevent the files. With the regular nickel titanium, it's impossible to prevent the files. So it's a nice feature of this system. But the main advantage of having rotary files in a martensitic stage is that the files are going to be really resistant to cyclic fatigue. It means that you will be able to use the files several times, and you will be able to use the files in really curved canals without the risk of breaking them. The files also have a non-cutting tip. The files have a surface treatment. The surface treatment is an electropolishing process, and we will see some images of that electropolishing process and the advantages of doing that on the files. For using the files, you need to create a manual or rotary glide path until a size 1502 at least. We need to use a 10K file, then a 15 file, and after that file we can start using these files. The first file is an orifice opener. This is 20 in the tip and the taper is 10%. The second file is a 2004. This file is designed for going inside of the root canal and for reaching the complete working length. The next file is a 2506. That 2506 should reach the complete working length as well. And the last file is a 3504. If you have constricted canals, you can finish with the 2506. And you have worked just with 3 files. If you have a big canal, you should go for the 3504. So you will use for all of them. If you want to work in an anterior tooth, and the tooth is too big, there are additional files also that you can buy separately for having a system that is going to work in most of the cases. But with this sequence, with this main sequence, you will be able to work in 80 or 85% of your cases, and it is a lot. You won't be needed to go and buy more files, and we will need to use these files at 500 RPMs and the torque should be 2.0. It has been demonstrated that cyclic fatigue is the main cause of file separation. If one file breaks inside of the root canal treatment canal system, in most of the cases, is gonna be because of cyclic fatigue. And these files have 100 times more resistant to cyclic fatigue than the regular nickel titanium files. So if we have an instrumentation system that is 100 times more resistant to cyclic fatigue than the regular files, and the cyclic fatigue is the main cause of failure, why don't you use them? Because we are facing and we are trying to resolve the main problem during the shaping of the root canal system. And in this video, we are going to see how the files works inside of the root canal. So 4 files, and we will proceed in the way that I already explained to you. The first one is an orifice opener. This orifice opener should work just in the coronal area with a shaping motion against the security wall. After using that file, we need to irrigate, we need to clean the file, and we need to check for the patency of the root canal system. The next file is at 2004. This is gonna be the first file that will reach the working length. And this file will work mostly in the apical area. As you can see, the needle is almost reaching the apical turn. The third file is the 2506. This will work mainly in the coronal portion of the root canal again. And if the canal is a constricted canal, you can finish here. If the canal is a regular canal, it's needed to go with the 3504. The 3504 will work only in the apical portion of the root canal system. Will work only here. This is the final shaping, and we need to adjust our master cone, and the adjustment of the master cone is always good in this area, in the apical area. After this, we can proceed with the obturation, but we will talk about obturation after the tea break. Now we will focus just in shaping. One of the harder canals to clean and shape are the MB2 canals. These canals are really difficult to deal with because we need to have a proper illumination, we need to have a proper understanding of the anatomy also. And the way of going inside of that canals can be kind of difficult, and I want to show you the way in which I proceed for cleaning and shaping them. So the first thing that I do is to work to shape and clean the MB2, the MB1, the distobuccal canal, the mesiobuccal canal, and the palatal canal. After that, I start looking for the MB2 because my pole chamber is gonna be really clean and it's gonna be much more easy for me to see the entrance of that canal. The problem is that in most of the cases, that canal is covered by dentin. We need to remove that dentin with ultrasonic devices. And after removing that tertiary dentin with our ultrasonic devices, we will be able to fill the entrance of the root canal and to go inside with manual files. It's advisable always to work with manual files, and after reaching a working length and creating a proper glide path, we can go inside with rotary files. After working, after looking for it, we were able to go inside with a 10K file. See? We need to have a lot of patience. Sometimes one appointment is just for cleaning that canal. Really difficult. But as soon as you reach the working length with manual files, you are almost done. Then you can go with the orifice opener for removing and for doing that shaping in the coronal tear. Because in most of the cases, that coronal tear is really hard to shape. Then you can go with rotary files for glide path, or you can go with manual files. In this case, I use a rotary system for establishing the glide path. You can use one system, the name of the system is G, and the size of the files are 13 and 17. And they are really helpful for working in constricted canals like this. And you can have this final result. Nice final obturation, nice instrumentation protocol, but as in all of our cases, we need to activate the irrigant. When you start activating the irrigant, you will be able to see that after activating that irrigant several times, the irrigant solutions, the sodium hypochlorite, will look really clean. And you will have that feeling of cleanness inside of your canals and in your shaping. You can see it looks really clean. Even after activating the irrigant, now it's clean because we already removed everything from inside. And this is the final result after removing everything from inside. And before going to the tea break, because it's time already, I want to show you the other characteristics of this system. If you are lucky, if you have to work in a constricted canal, the files are going to face a lot of torsional stress. In that cases, we need files with a big core. That big core can be the core of a file with a square cross section that will provide a lot of strength. If you need to work in a canal that is really curved, you will need flexibility. The flexibility will be provided by a triangular cross section because the core is going to be smaller. Thinking about this system, the system that we use, see, the first two files, the orifice opener and the 2004, they have a square cross section because we need a lot of strength. With the opener, because it's going to be the first file working in the coronal area, and for the 2004, because that file is really small and is the first file that is going to reach the working length. So the first two files will have a square cross section. That square cross section will provide strength and resistance to the torsional fatigue, And the flexibility, because they are really flexible, will be provided by the nickel titanium in a martensitic stage. The next two files, the 2506 and the 3504, that files are big files. The files, because they are big already, they have resistance to torsional fatigue, but we need flexibility. And we will look for that flexibility with a triangular, convex triangular cross-section. That convex triangular cross-section will provide resistance and flexibility at the same time. The electropolishing process will allow us to remove these imperfections that can appear after the manufacturing process. This electropolishing process will remove this imperfection that can cause a failure during your treatment, and you will have a surface like this one. The surface is really clean. And the most important point of this treatment is that that treatment will provide resistance to cyclic fatigue as well. And as we talked before, cyclic fatigue will provoke the separation of the instrument in most of the cases. And we are providing files with high resistance to cyclic fatigue. And for showing you how the files are working inside of a real root canal treatment, we will see this video. It's a real clinical case in an upper premolar with two canals. The premolar was necrotic. It seems to be just one oval canal, but actually we have two canals, one buccal canal and one palatal canal. This is the orifice opener working just in the coronal area. We need to irrigate, always we need to clean the files after going inside. This file is the 2004. This should reach the complete working length. I worked there without irrigant for showing you that the file is not touching the walls in the coronal area. That file is working inside. Is working deep inside of the canal system. This next file, the 2506, will work. Again, we will move again to the coronal area. They will work mainly in the coronal and the middle portion of the root canal system. And as you can see, the irrigant solution gets dirty because the file is caught in dentin. And we are taking out that dentin. Always irrigation, delivering our irrigant with needles. And the 3504 will work only in the apical area of the root canal system. With this file is released to work in 20 seconds, you finish. Because that file works just in the last 2 millimeters of the working length. 20 seconds and you are done with that file. I always proceed with the final activation of the irrigant. It's advisable to stay inside for 40 seconds in each canal, activating the irrigant and going in and going back out, going in and going out, 1 or 2 millimeters, and this is the final result. The root canal system looks really clean. The next step is to proceed with the obturation, but we will talk about obturation after the tea break. And nowadays everybody is talking about conservative endodontics. Conservative endodontics is related to doing small openings to the pulp chamber is related to do not remove too many dentin from the coronal portion of the area, is related to be the most conservative we can during removing caries. And in this article that I write for the Roots magazine, you may read. If you want the article, you send me an email and I can share the article with you, because the main things to have in mind for working in a conservative way are explained in this article. And this case is an example of the conservative endodontics. As you can see, the access opening is really small. It's not possible to see the entrances of the root canals. And also, we have this S-shaped curvature, that this S-shaped curvature will create a lot of cyclic stress in the files. For proceeding in a conservative way, and if you want to do small endodontic openings, and if you need to work in this kind of anatomy, you will need an instrumentation system like the one I showed to you. Because if you want to proceed in this way with a regular nickel titanium system, you will break the files. For sure, you are going to break the files. It's not possible to achieve successful results like this with regular nickel titanium files, because the files are not so good facing cyclic fatigue. But from the point of isolation to the point of shaping, what we are looking for is for this. We want that team that we talk about happy. We want happy patients. We want you happy also, working comfortable, and we want our referral doctors all being happy as well.